Hey everybody, it's Caltroit Red Flames, and today we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna talk about the PBE draft and the teams that could draft me. I'm gonna play F-Zero X. If you want to choose games that I should play, then I'll put a link to where I asked about it on NSFL in here. But somebody suggested this, so I'm doing it. This is my first time playing it since I was a little kid at my friend's house. I don't know any of the maps, so I'm just gonna do all the medium stuff. And grip seems pretty important, I think. I remember. It's got pretty good grip. Use that one. And I'm a big max speed guy. Alright. So, to start off, I guess I'll talk about the sloths. And when I looked at their team's roster, the only names that I recognized, and before like anybody gets up in arms about this, like, why didn't you mention me? You know me. One, I'm talking about people that I met before PBE, and two, I may have overlooked you because I don't know, maybe my eyes were being shitty. You know, stuff happens. But you know, don't get too bent out of shape about it. It's not a big deal. But I recognized JSS, who I knew from SHL, and sorry, I'm looking at two things at once, so I'm not racing super well. But JSS, I recognize as a guy who has loud opinions, and that's perfectly fine. But it's not really conducive to a good locker room where people feel comfortable saying stuff, and I don't want to deal with that. So I don't know if he's active or not, but that's not something I want to deal with. So, aw, I died. I guess that's what happens when you don't pay too much attention. We'll try this again. So that's one negative. But I also recognized Drunken Teddy, and I have never shared a locker room with him or anything else, but I do know that he helped out a lot with the forum move on SHL, and that says a lot about a person for me. If you're willing to put that much work into something, especially when he was about to be leaving head office too. So, you know, it's not like he's really reaping the rewards other than the fact that he gets to enjoy it as well. So, it's really great of him to help out. I like people that are willing to do that kind of stuff. So I'm going to say that he's a positive. And with the sheer amount of people that I don't recognize, it's hard to have too strong of an opinion about this team. So I'm going to say they're a second tier team. Who knows how I would like it if I were actually there. That's how I feel about the slots. Come on. Come on. Come on! Oh, baby, I might win. Yeah! How about that? Winning your first race back. I'm sure the Sloths have a fine team. The GM who I spoke with was really great. When I said that there's a certain team that I specifically want to go to, he was super respectful of that and said, we might be trading up to get you, but if you really do want to play on that team instead, that's totally understandable, and that's super cool. So, cool GM is a plus, for sure. Next up is Death Valley, and I recognize a lot of guys on that team. There's Carbine, who I didn't know until 2 seasons ago on SHL, so maybe a little over, oh man, I don't know how long that is, a month and a half, maybe 2 months, but he is running the WJC on SHL right now, and that was kind of my baby for a while until shit hit the fan. And he's been doing a good job with it. Obviously there was stuff to learn, so some kinks had to be worked out. But I'm happy with how he's done with that, so that's a positive for me. I also recognize Majesu, however you say it. If he's watching this, hopefully he'll correct me later. Or somebody who knows can correct me. But I first met him on SHL because he created a player named Peter Czerkowski. Or, I'm sure that's not how you say it, the player's supposed to be Polish. And I recruited him to come play for Czechoslovakia as a transfer, because we needed players, and he has a very good player. We were really happy to get him, and he's been a really cool dude. Obviously he's super busy here, so he can't be, you know, incredibly active. Gosh, that was a short race on SHL, which kind of sucks, because you know he's a cool dude if you know him. You know anything about him, but his player on SHL is getting really good, and that's going to help us a lot in the future in IAHF. He already helped us win a back-to-back gold medal in the World Juniors, so that's good. The next person I know on Death Valley is Andy BJ. He's also somebody that I met on Czechoslovakia. I believe his player is Noctis Kalum. I've only been with Czechoslovakia for 2 seasons now after transferring from the US. So I don't know everyone's player matched with their username. So I apologize if I was wrong, but I believe that's who it is. Oh my god. So that's a plus. Anybody that's a part of Czechoslovakia is a plus for me. I also know Crutch. Being on Edmonton, he does not like anybody on Edmonton on SHL because he was traded. I was not there when he was traded, so this is hearsay. But a lot of Edmonton people and him have really bad run-ins where everyone's just rude and disrespectful, and that is a huge negative for me, because I would really like it if people were just nice to each other on these sim sites, because we're all just here to have fun. So whether or not it's his fault or somebody on Edmonton's fault, I really don't care. That's not something I want to be around. Thankfully, I've been told that he's inactive, so if I do end up in Death Valley, then that's great. And then the final person I recognize from Death Valley is Beaver. I know he and Keegan are super close guys, and Keegan's been pretty cool to me. We played some Stardew Valley for a while together. A lot of the Edmonton people did. And he was a lot of fun. His girlfriend's not very nice, but that's alright. So having that experience with Keegan, I went into my relationship with Beaver, I guess is what you'd call it, without any caution or apprehension. And Beaver's been nothing but cool as a GM for the Swifties especially, who are awesome people. So, God, this is a ridiculous map. Oh man, I'm gonna have to pay attention to that. So Beaver's a huge plus for me, as I'm sure a lot of people have already heard. But if you haven't, yeah, Beaver's awesome. That's everybody on the Voyagers. I'd definitely put them in my top tier of teams I want to go to. God, how do you control these things? Use like break or something? It's insane. I don't know. Maybe I don't know the controls. I'm using a keyboard, so it's not exactly easy to control these things. God. You know what, actually, I bet a keyboard is easier for this. Using a controller back in the day on N64 was ridiculous when you tried to do stuff like this. Anything that required any amount of precision whatsoever. God, I remember Mario 64 falling off of shit everywhere. These are super short races. The next team is the Voyagers, and the only name I recognized there was Nameless Nate. And I haven't even known him that long. I knew him from SHL also. And the biggest thing I know about him is that when I was creating come on. I was creating a list of people who could replace the old Swedish, I think it was Swedish, the old Swedish oh, this is bad, head for IHF, and I put him down, and then I'm pretty sure I found out that his player wasn't Swedish. I think he was from Luxembourg or something like that. So that was bad because that kind of gave him an inkling of maybe he should transfer there and help them out. Meanwhile, I'm running a different country. So that's not something I would want, but I don't think it really did affect him that much. But that's the only guy I recognize, so pretty indifferent to the Voyagers. I believe I do have a teammate up there on the Voyagers, so from the Swifties. So if you're listening to this, like I said at the beginning, don't get bent out of shape. I'm not mentioning people who I met on PBE. Man. The Aviators, the next team. I recognize Trella, who I've known since I joined a Sim League, from being on the St. Louis Scarecrows. And he's a real cool dude. He and I are collaborating on some stuff right now that you might be reading about a certain trial going on in the world of PBE. So Trell is a huge plus. Then Keegan. I talked about Beaver before and I mentioned Keegan during that. So you know how I feel about Keegan. Cool dude. Likes to play Stardew Valley. That's a plus. Oh god, I looked at my page. Oh well. So, aviators are all positive for me. So I wouldn't mind being there. Providence, I recognize a lot of names from. Unfortunately, I think a lot of them are inactive, but I'll read them out in a second after I get past these dangerous parts. Don't want to fall off again. God. Look at that, everybody's hitting the wall. So the first name I recognize is Captain Squall, or CPT SQALL. I don't know how to pronounce it, I guess. He is Richard Fist from SHL. He was in my, oh god, I just literally fell off and somehow bounced back on. He was in my draft class, and he's a cool dude. His player's really cool, that's for sure, on SHL. He's a super heavy hitting defenseman, and I'm sure that's really fun to play as. So, yeah, and he's a really cool dude, for sure. I talk with him not a whole lot, but when I do get a chance to catch up with him, it's pretty cool. And he's on Toronto, which is like, if I could choose a team other than Edmonton to be on SHL, it would be Toronto, because there's so many cool people there for my draft class. I recognize 212143, and he was a cool guy I met on Edmonton that wanted me to join NSFL, and he wasn't the reason I did, but I eventually did join NSFL. Oh, is it already over? Man. Would I get like 4th or something? Oh, it's showing how bad I did. Oh man. And I did not join Liberty because they're pretty trash right now. Which is the team that he manages on NSFL. But Tu himself is a real cool dude, and I would 100% want to play with him. There's also Time Consumer on Providence, and I don't really know anything about him other than he likes to believe he knows a lot about sim engines, I think, and how to build players. Whether or not that's true, I have no idea, because I've only been on NSFL and PPE for like 2 or 3 months maybe. So, I don't know. I've only had one run-in with him when he helped me with my linebacker in NSFL. So, you know. Let's do expert on the first one. I didn't unlock anything. That's dumb. So yeah, I don't know anything about Time Consumer really. J Courtesy 81. I have said from the time that I joined SHL to this very day that Joe is one of the greatest people I have ever met on any sim league, and I stand by that. He's a great dude, and I would gladly play on any team that has him on it. He also gets TPE at a ridiculous rate, no matter what league it is, so that's a huge plus if I'm trying to win. And TLK742. He's a super cool dude. He's also on Edmonton. Gosh, there's so many Edmonton people in this league. he joined. His player on SHL was Danish, and I asked him to join Czechoslovakia through transfer, and he did. And he said that he'd be pretty busy because of a wedding, which is totally understandable. Anything IRL is more important than a sim league. And that's been cool. Like, just hearing about it, he's real happy now, being married. So I'm happy for him. Everyone should be. God, this is way harder on Expert. On the easiest map. Wow. So I'm hoping his player gets better on SHL so he can help out Czechoslovakia, because we're looking to have a real good team soon, and like, it's ridiculous. We got so many good players in this most recent draft to join the team. So what happens if I have just acceleration? Probably gonna be terrible. So yeah, I definitely like TLK for sure. He's a cool guy. And then the last team is the Vandals, at least in the pro leagues. They have Evok, who I mean, I'm on a team with her in NSFL, but she left that Discord, so I haven't been able to talk with her. I spent some time in the SMJHL head office, and I'm pretty sure that nobody in the head office liked me and thought I was lazy. I was really just in school and trying to balance a whole bunch of stuff, playing a collegiate sport, being a senior in college, checking constantly whether or not anybody had created to make sure I didn't get yelled at for not approving a player quick enough. And that wasn't Evok that was yelling at me for that, although I don't know like what she was saying to them, to the other head office people. But I'm not going to make any conclusions or accusations because I have no information. I'm cool with her. Who knows if she's cool with me. And then Burzcap, who is my manager on NSFL. He's a really good manager. We just won the Ultimates this past season. He's put together a really good team. So, yeah, I trust him. He's also a really cool guy. He lets me complain about programming and listens to that, which is nice. Because usually if you complain about programming, which is what I do for a job, nobody has any idea what you're talking about. They're like, oh yeah, I know about this stuff, and then you try to explain it a little in depth and hope that they'll feel your pain. And a lot of the time, they just don't. So, he's a cool guy. And then SLM is on the Vandals as well. And I mean, I've been super cool with him since I joined the Swifties. I see no problems with him. I know some people that are mutual friends. Well, they're my friends. I should say mutual acquaintances, because apparently they don't get along. But I think SLM's pretty chill. So I'm cool with him. Whether or not the people that I'm friends with are, doesn't really matter, I guess. But if you're managing the Swifties, you've got to be pretty kick-ass. So now that I've talked about the people I know on the teams, I guess I should rate them. Actually, there's yeah, I guess I'll start from the bottom. The last team I would want to go to, oh god, That's hard. It's hard to put a team in last for where I would want to go to. But if I had to, it'd probably be the Vandals. It's just... No, I'm gonna go back on that. It'd be the Sloths. Drunken Teddy might be inactive because I think he was a Season 1. And JSS, I just haven't really seen him say anything nice on SHL. So, I don't know. I don't want to deal with that. So, the Sloths are the last team I would want to go to. And then the Vandals. Burst Cap and SLM, you guys are cool. Evok, you're cool. But I want to meet new people. And yeah, there's the opportunity for that. But God, fuck this map. It's so impossible to not stay on the outside of the turn. But Evok left the NSFL, what's it called, Discord that I was in. And so I don't know if she's going to be in that one. So that's a negative because I'd like to get to know her, but I feel like there's no chance to. Maybe she's just super busy and doesn't have time for all these Discords. And that's fine. But also, anybody on the Vandals shouldn't take that as a knock because it's really hard to pick a team I don't think I would want to go to. So rather than looking at it that way, I think you should look at it as they're just other teams that I really want to go to instead of not wanting to go into the Vandals. So next would be the Voyagers. They give me a really good chance to meet a ton of new people. But I also only know one person there, and yeah, he's a really cool guy, based on what I've heard about him, but I have never really talked with him personally, other than on a forum once, so that's lack of people that I know. I guess I want a good mix of people I know and people I don't. Providence, Death Valley, and the Aviators. I have to say I think Providence is next. Captain Squall's cool, but I think he's inactive. I think all the rest of the people I know on there are active. I'm gonna have to say that the Aviators and Providence are tied. Because they both just have such great people on them. Joe, TLK, Trella, and Keegan are all just guys that I'm pretty good friends with, and I'd be happy to play with any of them. So I wouldn't be upset if I went to either of those teams at all. And then finally, the team that I would definitely want to go to, given the choice, is Death Valley. Maju's cool. Andy BJ is Czech boy. Carbine. It'd be nice to get to know him better if possible, but who knows? I know he's really busy. He barely has time to talk during WJC. And Crutch is inactive, so that's not a problem. And finally, Beaver is probably the biggest reason. He's a manager of the Swifties, and he's on the team. And like I was saying, I want to get to know new people. I don't know Beaver that well, and I'd like to get to know him better. So this would probably give me the opportunity, combined with being in the Swifty Discord already. And finally, my number one choice for a team that I would go to if I got to pick is the State College Swifties. by far the #1 team that I'd like to play for next season. The managers are great people. They're really fun. I don't think I've ever seen... There have been a few times. The only time that I've seen a team more hyped for a series victory or a championship victory was also this past season with Czechoslovakia. Just all the people that we picked up and the people that were already there, just great people that are really fun to hang out with. And during the gold medal game, we were all on the forum and in the Discord and just getting super hyped. Every time somebody scored, people were super excited. And when we got scored against, they were like, "Oh shit, no, don't do this!" Like, just getting super into it, and that's what makes this a really fun experience. Especially as a manager, seeing people actually care about the games. Good lord, I'm getting demolished. That's awesome to see. That's when you know you've made a really fun and cool environment, and that people actually care. So, oh man, that was really great to see. But back to the PvE related, when we State College were in the finals, that was so fun. If you were watching that, you'll recognize me saying Speedy Boy reporting for duty, and then immediately hitting a ground ball to second. That was always really cool, you know, to be out in like 2 pitches. Love that. I guess it's my fault for creating the player that I did. But it's okay, I'm sticking to it. Speedy Boy is going to be a kick-ass lead-off man. Just got to give it time. Oh man. Am I gonna make it? Watch your back. Watch your back. Rip. I've been doing so bad this circuit. So yeah, State College, Death Valley, Providence and Aviators tied, Voyagers, Vandals, Sloths, in that order. We'll see how the draft plays out. I know I've been talking with some managers, and some of them have been saying they'd like to draft me. One of them said they were going to try and trade for the 1st overall, but they asked if I'd like to be there, and I would. I think I would enjoy playing on the team that they're at, but I told them that Death Valley is the team that I'd want to go to if I had to play in the majors, and they said, alright, we respect that, then we probably won't trade up for you, and that's fair, so I appreciate that. So those are my draft rankings for where I want to go. And I've played 2 circuits, and I'm only 35 minutes into this. So I guess I can do one more. I did one on standard and then one on expert. So maybe I'll do one on easy. I just got a message in the Czech Discord. I had to check that. Oh, did it freeze? I hope it didn't. No, it didn't. It's just a slow... Alright. Novice. See how this goes. Do I have to get first or something? I want to use one of the cool ships. This sucks. Oh baby, look at that. Hot Jody Summer. Bigger thigh muscles than my forearm. Alright. Good lord. This might not work out so well. I keep hitting the walls. Oh god. What? Was that her screaming? Alright, what else is there to talk about? Oh man, I can talk about how Speedy Boy has been playing. To sum it up, like garbage. That's a good way to put it. I'm gonna do my best to make him into Ricky Henderson eventually, but Ricky Henderson was such an amazing player. Who knows if anyone would be able to accomplish that. But yeah, I'm gonna start out with, I've already got his stealing and speed up enough. So now I just need to, holy crap. I need to be able to get him on base through walks and basically home runs, which I know wasn't on base, but throughout his career he was so good that a lot of pitchers would walk him because they didn't want to deal with him, so that contributed. And then, you know, the patience that he had was great, so he'd get on base a lot of the time just from walks. So I'm gonna try to do that, and then eventually, you know, he wasn't just great at getting walks and steals, he had a heck of a bat, a lot of power on that. So I think in that order, I've got his speed and stealing up, then I'm gonna get his avoid Ks and I/patience up, and then I'll end it with either BABIP or power. Either one would be useful. Ah, shit, I could add first. So, that's the plan for his development. Right now, since his fielding is what I boosted immediately to make him a good minor league outfielder. His fielding is good, and his stealing and speed are good. But if you've been watching any of the prospect games, or you watched the minor league finals, you'll know that he hits a ridiculous number of ground balls to second base that gets him out before he can get to first. And he's lucky to get even one hit a game. During the most previous sim, I think, he got on base. No, he got 3 hits in almost 20 at-bats. That's terrible. So I know he got 1 walk, so if you say that's 20 ABs, on base 4 times, that's just under 0.25 on base percentage, which is not good for somebody with such high TPE for the minors. Man, I guess he's only at 175. He hasn't been updated a second time yet and should be at 239. But, man, that's just... I scratched my nose! Damn it. That's just abysmal. 0.25. Below 0.25 on base percentage. Just unacceptable. So I'm gonna see if I can up that soon. It's tough because I heard there was a batting nerf in like season 3, maybe season 3 off season, and now 4 TPE to go from 30 to 31 in one attribute that involves batting is just horrendous. In most sim leagues, you don't have to use more than 1 TP until you get to like 60 or 70. Whatever, I'm not in charge. So we'll see if I can get him to do a bunch of walks. I think it was Beaver did a bunch of test sims for me and found that if you max avoid Ks and walks, I think you get like 66 walks a season, or maybe it was 44, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think it was 44 walks, and then if you get max stealing and speed, you'll get 66 stolen bases, about that. So I don't think I'm going to be catching Ricky Henderson's record, how insane it was. Come on. Man, I have it on easy and I can't get above 9th. Terrible. So I think if I get my walks and Ks, or avoid Ks, pretty high, and then I'm not sure, because Ricky Henderson could hit a home run for sure, but if I just get power up, I'll probably end up doing power instead of BABIP. So then I'll either get a home run or I'll get it on base through a walk. So that's probably what I'll do. And then I'll steal every base. So if you're a manager and you're watching this video, don't worry. God damn, I'm terrible at this game. Speedy Boy is not just a mean player like that article said. Speedy Boy is going to be the best leadoff hitter that you have ever seen. I'm doing my best to create a rivalry between myself and Dog, but he's not having it. We won only one championship together. Yeah. He said 2, I think, but it was only 1. We won the SMJHL, and we made it to the finals in the DSFL, but we didn't end up winning. But yeah, I'm Chad Pennington on NSFL, and he is Brad Pennington. So we're brothers on that. So I can understand it being difficult to create a rivalry between him and I. But I thought it'd be fun and it'd give something to write about. But it takes 2 to tango. I can't just hate on him for no reason if he's not going to hate me back. The whole Speedy Boy thing has been creating a heck of a lot to write about, though. I think I said at the beginning of the video, but you should really check out media, because that's been a heck of a time. I I wrote something and showed it to somebody about Speedy Boy, and they said it was like reading a scene from a movie. That was pretty fun to hear. Maybe I should give up my job programming and become a screenwriter. Oh god, no, please! No! Get on! Oh, fuck. Alright. I don't think anybody wants to see me race this a 4th time. So, I think that's going to be the end of this. Let's see. So that means I can go ahead and get rid of F-Zero-X from this wonderful, ridiculously long list. And eventually, actually, yeah. Eventually, when I get this uploaded, this will be a link. And if you want, all you have to do is add games to here that you want me to play, or any topics that you want me to talk about. I'll put them under here, or no, under here. And if you haven't watched it, I had a previous video on PBE where I talked about getting a tournament ready for an emulator-based game using Dolphin. It's probably going to be Super Smash Bros. I would say go watch that, but that was a really, 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 really bad podcast, and I don't want anybody to ever watch it ever. So I'll just summarize it. The idea is that everybody would download Dolphin, which has something called NetPlay built into it, that would allow us to play Super Smash Bros. Melee online, and I'd put together a tournament for it, and we'd all play against each other, and it'd be a good time because PvE off seasons are really, really long. The downside of doing this on computers is that playing Super Smash Bros. Melee on a computer sucks, with a keyboard at least. So what you can do is, if you have an Xbox controller that's plug and play, you just have to map the controls. If you have a PlayStation 4 or 3 controller, you'd have to get specific software to get that to work. And if you have a GameCube controller, you can order something really cheap. Controller adapter. At least I've heard it's really cheap. $20, okay. So it's not super cheap. That's from Best Buy though, let's see. Yeah, it'd be $20. So, I don't know if you're willing to spend that. But if you look, it's not like you would just play Smash. I have NFL Street. I loved that game when I was younger. But you could also get some N64 games, some Game Boy games. Got Sega Genesis on here because a friend of mine wanted me to help her out, so I made a tutorial for her to watch to use that. But yeah, so I think that'd be a fun idea, tournament. Maybe I'll get it together for next off season if I'm not super busy. Right now I'm busy with some hosting stuff on SHL, but we'll see what happens. If you guys think that's a fun idea, then I'll definitely put it together. Let's take a look at the Home Run Derby really quick. Don't worry about this stuff. That's check stuff. You're not allowed to see it. Here we go. I bet it's not going on anymore. That was a while ago. Yeah, it's offline. Oh, and this is NSFL. Not what I want. Yeah, oh, that's betting. Rip, so I can't actually look at it, can I? Oh boy, here it is. Wow, I like the way the manager demands excellence from his players. I bet he's a very successful manager. Oh, Beaver. Well, that's all I've got for this one. If you liked it, thanks for watching. If you didn't like it, also thanks for watching. Um, I'm gonna keep doing these, so that's great. Have a good one, y'all.